All right, Legion fans, welcome to our extra Mandalorian podcast. Today, as always, spoilers. We're getting to the last couple of episodes.
I'm going to say some stuff I probably shouldn't.
We're going to say all kinds of things. If you have not seen this latest episode...
Why are you here again?
Please go back.
Go
Chapter 15.
Watch the episode.
Go watch it, The Believer.
Do you not have Disney Plus?
If you don't... Well, you should get it. Yeah.
You get it.
You should get it. Yeah, definitely. So spoilers from this point forward. Make sure you go watch the episode, then come on back. All right, well, today we have a special guest with us.
That's right.
We have a special guest. Logan, you want to introduce him?
Yes, I want to introduce our special guest, my cousin Corey Bailey, who is an immense Star Wars expert.
We're bringing in the big guns.
That's right. You got to know your stuff if you're coming on here. Corey is an encyclopedia of information from Star Wars history. I am excited to have his expertise on this video today.
Yeah,
Corey?
Thanks for having me. I just hope I don't disappoint.
No, you're going to be great.
Not going to disappoint at all.
Super excited. And as any good Star Wars fan, he's been watching The Mandalorian, taking notes, enjoying the episodes, and we're going to break down this next one.
Let's be honest. He wouldn't be a Star Wars fan if he wasn't watching The Mandalorian.
That's true. That's why I say like any good Star Wars fan.
Well, I'm just naming it. I'm putting it out there for people. If you're trying to claim to be a Star Wars fan and aren't watching The Mandalorian, you've got a problem.
And if you're claiming to be a Star Wars fan and not listening to our podcast, you've also got a problem.
Exactly right.
Get on your game.
Those are tied together.
They are.
You have to listen to the podcast and watch The Mandalorian.
Yep. They go hand in hand.
Right.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this episode has us going. Another planet. Planet hop. Planet mission. Right. We go to another planet. We're off to Morak this time.
It honestly feels like Din Djarin just doesn't want to stay anywhere. Nope, been here for a day, gotta move on, gotta do something.
Well, that was the original plan though. Like when he had Grogu, he needed to keep moving because he was constantly being hunted by these guys.
That's true. And he's been a drifter all his life, right? He's used to that kind of a lifestyle. So this is not uncomfortable territory for Mando, but he needs to go get some interesting help. He's going back to bring Bill Burr's character, Mayfeld, back.
Bill Burr!
I love Bill Burr, man.
He's so good.
He's just an angry, sarcastic New Englander in everything he does, and he doesn't disappoint here.
That was my favorite thing that you told me about him. You told me that he initially started studying acting. Yeah. And then he realized that he actually couldn't act and it was really difficult. So he just decided in every role he was in, he was just going to act like himself.
Yeah, and he does it, and it's great.
Yeah, it was perfect character.
He lands parts that way. So, yeah. Anyway, so they take Mayfeld and they're going to planet Morak in order to hopefully figure out the location of Moff Gideon, or at least a way to track him and find his coordinates so they can go and rescue the child, rescue Grogu. So they're on their way.
Right, they're going.
All right, planet Morak, the Juggernauts. Super cool.
Very cool. That was actually one of the first things that I noticed.
Yeah.
It harkens back to the Clone Wars, these old troop transports and things like that. I like it, especially what they're doing here in The Mandalorian. They, harken back to the nitty gritty. Yeah. And it's perfect.
Yeah, definitely. They're pulling a lot of things from the older TV shows, and they're grabbing things like the Republic cruiser that Moff Gideon is flying around in, and back to some older kind of styles of trooper armor and things like that. We saw similar markings on the incendiary troops and the mortar troops in the previous episode that kind of look back to Rex and the other clone troopers. Really, really cool that they're kind of bringing back that old lore and helping us kind of create a world that's mixed in both, which is neat. It makes sense. The Empire is struggling, and so they're grabbing kind of older tech to stay alive as they try and control these smaller areas in the Outer Rim.
It seems like there are two pieces of source material that are unofficial source material for this entire show. Are the animated series Clone Wars, Rebels, but then also the Legends series, which was non-canon. Yep. And then they're bringing all this stuff in to be able to make it canon.
Yeah, definitely. So the team runs into some issues as they get to the planet. Boba is kind of patrolling overhead in his shiny new armor.
And let's not forget about Slave One.
Oh, Slave One is so great. Yeah, it is the best ship.
Exactly.
I saw it again in this episode, and I remember when it first came on the scene last episode, I was so excited for it.
Right.
And then I got super depressed when the Razor Crest got blown up.
Right.
I love the Razor Crest. But then seeing Slave One
tragedy.
again, yeah, that was a tragedy. Seeing Slave One again in this episode made me just forget about the Razor Crest. I was like, who cares? We got Slave One back, and it's got all its really cool weapons, and it's got all its cool thing where it flips around to land, and it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Boba's back to his old glory.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of him being back to his old glory, we get to see his armor completely restored in this episode.
Polished up.
When they go and pick up Bill Burr, he's like, "Oh, I thought you were somebody else."
I love that. Yeah. And then Mando walks out, and he's like, "Oh man, what? Oh.
And he still got his signature dent in the helmet. I'm glad they kept that.
Yeah, he didn't buff that
It's
out.
Meskar.
Yeah.
Can't buff that out.
Right, yeah. What would you use to try and pry out a dent in a Beskar armor? That's messed up. So,
well, those you get the stuff you can get at Bed Bath and Beyond. You know, the little plungers
yeah,
that you just pull.
No, what you'd use is the spear.
That's
the
right. Yeah.
Beskar spear.
Real good whack.
Really just good. Yeah, good smack and then knock that dent right out. So Boba's looking up top, and then we've got Cara Dune, and we've got Min-Na Wen's character. What's her name? Fennec. We got Fennec up there.
Back. Yeah.
They are watching from the ground, and Mando and Mayfeld decide to go in, but in order to do that, Mando has to do something kind of unconventional, which I thought was a really cool part of the episode.
Yeah. Well, before you even do that,
yeah,
let's talk about the fact that Cara Dune is not happy about the fact that Mayfeld is there.
Oh, of course not. She's breaking all kinds of rules.
Well, she's breaking all kinds of rules, but she has zero trust in this guy whatsoever.
He's Imperial scum.
Well, of course, but yeah.
I was just noticing, and I just noticed it in this episode. She's got a rebel tattoo on her.
She's got. Yep, it's the rebellion symbol. Yeah, and she's got her her jumper tattoo on her forearm or on her bicep as well.
Yeah, I just always thought the tattoo on the face was a mole, but then you got a real good close-up shot when she was sniping, and you're like, oh, well, now I may need to get a face tattoo. I may need to dig in here.
Cropping up everywhere.
Yeah, but as you know, mine won't be Rebel.
It'll be
Empire.
Oh, I thought it would be Batman.
Well, I mean, Batman
on one side, Empire
on the other. Yeah.
Oh, don't do that. So they are watching, and as Mayfeld and Din Djarin head in, and Din Djarin has to ditch his Mandalorian armor, and wear a stormtrooper armor, which I thought was the coolest thing. My favorite part of that was when he was fighting the pirates on top of the train.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the fight, he started fighting like he was wearing Beskar. He was trying to block with his forearms, and
just shatters.
Yeah, just shatters it. It's like, don't you remember all the times you smacked stormtroopers around? Yeah. But it's so ingrained in him, and so. But then he learned, like as he fought, he got better, and he figured out how to fight without blocking the way he used to block, and he started kicking butt, and it was great.
I can't get over this stormtrooper armor. We have not stopped.
So brittle.
It's part of the
episode after episode. We have watched
just shattering.
It's so cool.
Falling apart.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed. I actually want to know now, what is it I've joked it's made out of tissue paper.
No, it's like particle board.
It's particle. Like, what is it actually made of that it just completely disintegrates? I'm afraid
you can 3D print your arm.
Yeah, well,
I'm sitting here wondering if they have to do a briefing with the Galactic Empire. All right, gentlemen, make sure you're not going out in the rain. Your armor will fall apart. It will disintegrate.
It's because Darth Vader took all the good material for his armor and didn't leave anything for anybody else.
Nothing for anybody else.
That makes sense.
Except for maybe those, Dark Troopers that we saw last episode.
Well, at least the armor hanging in there.
Right.
Yeah, those guys, we're hoping. We're hoping your theory is true and that they're best.
I really want it to be best.
That would be great.
But we digress.
Anyway, so they get in, they make it to the facility where they have to try and get an encrypted thing and use this data stick to end up getting Moff Gideon's location.
Bill Burr is giving Mando no release on the fact that he's wearing other armor too.
Oh yeah, he's ripped on the whole time.
I love the seriousness.
Again, He's Bill Burr. It's just Bill Burr. This is what Bill Burr would do in that situation if he was stuck in a car
Exactly.
with Din Djarin in the wrong armor. Yeah,
just berating him
and just busting on him.
Yeah,
you can take off the helmet.
Yeah, he's like, it's nicer in here without it. It on. Yeah. Well, but he also sneaks in, and I like this about Bill Burr's character, is that he sneaks in a little bit of seriousness as well.
Right.
When he starts talking about like the morality of war, and he starts talking about like how anybody will cross the lines that they've drawn if it's important enough to them. If a certain virtue outweighs whatever their code is, they will step over that code in order to protect or in order to deliver or in order to do what they need to do.
Right.
And it was great foreshadowing that Din Djarin was going to have to do that at a later point, either in the episode or in the series. And we saw, at least for this point, it was in the later in the episode.
Yeah. Right.
Right, because they get to the mess hall, and Bill Burr's character sees an old superior officer in the mess hall. He doesn't want to go in or else he'll be recognized.
Valen Hess.
Right, Valen Hess, which he's up your alley. He's from Batman.
Joe Chill.
Yeah.
From Batman Begins.
Richard Brake.
Gotta love it. Coming
so
back around, man.
I didn't even recognize him before Corey mentioned it tonight. I didn't even recognize
that
was
I gotta
him.
tell you.
But now that I can't unsee it now.
Corey picked that up.
Yeah.
Let me tell
Super
you what.
cool.
This is just playing right up my alley.
Yeah.
I love those villains,
and
I love that Empire, man. This guy was right up my alley.
He was brutal when they ended up talking to him. He was brutal.
He spoke truth.
Well, before he speaks truth, Din Djarin has to go. He makes a tough decision, and he decides that the child is that one thing that he will step over his code for. And so he goes up and he removes his helmet in order to get face scanned in a room full of Imperial officers and Bill Burr, right? And so he gets his face scanned, and he almost makes it out and done before anybody really takes notice of him. But Valen Hess comes up and actually questions him as to what he's doing, mainly because he looks really shifty. Like, I mean, I know Imperial officers look shifty all the time, but he's really
a bit
shifty.
Stiff.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, he's probably really thrown off because I'm sure the Beskar armor is a lot heavier.
Yeah.
And he's just like, where's all the weight? Like, I don't know how to stand in this.
That's true.
And I doubt Stormtrooper armor is very comfortable. But anyway, so Valen Hess comes over, and Bill Burr has to swoop in and kind of make excuses for him. And they end up sitting and having a really great conversation.
But he doesn't even. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that it comes down to. So Bill Burr isn't willing to go in because he's concerned about the superior officer being recognized.
Yeah.
But then, as soon as Mando's in trouble, he swoops in. He could have easily, at that moment,
stepped away,
been gone.
Yeah, but you know what? I think this has all been. I think he's been built. So when he brought up that topic to Din Djarin in the transport, I think this inner turmoil toward the Empire and toward this kind of newer rise of the Imperial forces has been brewing in him. And then he sees someone like Din Djarin who is willing to step up in a way that he wasn't willing to step up during Operation Cinder, or that he couldn't step up in it, and he sees him step up for something that's worthwhile. And I think that spoke to Mayfeld, and Mayfeld in that moment was ready then to go ahead and seize that opportunity, not only to do the right thing, but also he's got a Mandalorian with him to take revenge on this dude. Like, this is an opportunity that's not only a step in the virtuous direction, but also a step in the getting his just desserts direction.
Yeah.
He knew that they were going to get out alive.
Let's
be honest.
he's got Boba up there.
Yeah.
He's got this best sharpshooter in the galaxy. He's got Cara Dune out there. He's got Mando right next to him, and he's in a room full of stormtroopers.
He can do whatever he wants.
Imperial officers who
they can't shoot, and they can't shoot.
Their thing.
Yep.
They can't aim. They can't shoot. So so he steps in, says that Mando's had hearing loss from war, and then they go and they sit and they have a conversation, and that conversation is awesome.
The conversation's fantastic.
It's tense. I was eating. I stopped eating.
Right.
I never stop eating. I think I said this last episode, actually. I stopped eating when Slave 1 came on.
You stopped eating when Slave 1 came on.
Or maybe when Boba started fighting. I don't remember. But I stopped eating again, and I was just so tense. I felt my stomach in knots when Valen Hess was talking about the Burning Khan Operation Cinder, and he's talking about how this all happened.
I think here's the thing. Here's the thing. And this is where I'm going to be different than both of you. I think we like that conversation for different reasons.
Probably. You like it because you like bad guys.
That's right. Let's talk about it.
So I liked it because we got to see some more character development in Mayfeld, and we got to see. And now, in Bill Burr's defense, and against even what he says, the dude can act. Like the look in his eyes and the struggle in his face as he's slowly getting Valen Hess to relive that experience where he realized that the Empire was not really going to bring order and that it was only bringing this terrible destruction.
Yeah, Operation Cinder was like a legit like scorched earth mission of like they were saying tens of thousands of people and planets, systems.
Right.
And it was as awful as it sounded.
well, and the other thing was it wasn't just like civilians.
Yeah,
like he had to watch his whole unit get
he
fried.
did a complete 180.
Yeah, by their own people.
Yeah.
Like his own people, his own superior officers made the call to kill all of his friends and to kill all of the people that were supposed to be fighting for what he thought was right.
Yeah.
And so seeing him churn in that, and I loved seeing Mando in the middle of it because he's sitting there. He's like, it's like at an uncomfortable family holiday dinner. He's like,
third wheel, just like
talking about this. Why are we
saying
saying this? Can I just leave? And it was just a great, and then to culminate him.
I don't think he's fully present there. Mando's like, I don't really care.
I'm still. I have nothing on my head.
That's, honestly, that's probably all that's going through his mind is like, there is not a helmet on my head. I'm really uncomfortable.
And the child is slowly getting
further
and farther away from me. Why are we wasting his time reliving this? Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
Here's my reality.
What were you feeling?
Here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm here.
That man, Valen, was speaking truth. Okay? I want to be clear about this.
No, he was
speaking truth.
No,
there are hard decisions when you lead.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to make hard decisions.
Agreed.
Sometimes, that's going to hurt some people. It's not going to feel so good on some of those decisions, but they are for the betterment of
the Empire.
The Empire.
Right. Yes. Right. You're right. Not of the galaxy.
Depending on your perspective. Your perspective is that the Empire is better under,
or the galaxy is better.
The galaxy is better under the New Republic, and his point was that everybody wants freedom,
right,
until you got to work for it,
right,
and then
they want order.
You want order,
yeah,
and then they will come crawling back. And here's the argument I've made, because of the movies we have seen, because of the corrections we've got coming,
right.
I'm full Empire.
I know.
Burn them all.
No.
Run them down. I am ready. I want order in this galaxy because I am tired. I'm tired of seeing just terrible Jedi continue to perpetuate awfulness in our galaxy.
He's just channeling Thrawn here.
He is.
He's channeling it.
So here's my counter to that. So you say freedom is great and until it gets difficult, and then they come crawling back for order, right? Well, I would argue that the Empire's approach to order is the easy way out, is not actually dealing with the struggles that are at hand, just wiping people out, because it's easier than hearing them complain.
You think it's easy? Easy to organize an empire?
No, I don't think it's easy to organize an empire.
Easy?
I think it's easier
to oversee galaxies?
I think it's easier to kill people than to work with them. So
interesting.
So they
interesting
instead of actually trying to run a stable galaxy, they're just trying to wipe out those people that don't agree with them.
Well, tit for tat. agree to disagree.
Well, regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Valen Hess is
he's a real, but he showed he's a true believer. And at some point, what's really interesting is you see this level, and I don't know where the level is, but at some point, these guys become true believers.
Oh, yeah.
At some point of level of promotion. I don't know where it is. I don't know because we've seen a lot of, now at this point, we've seen a lot of stormtrooper defections.
Yeah.
It's not at that level.
They rise the ranks.
But at some point in rising the ranks, these guys are ready to go all the way.
Well, when it used to be after you had your first Darth Vader choke.
After you got
and
choked,
then once you got, then you were a believer. Then you were set. No turning back. So that guy must have had at least like 5 Darth Vader.
He had to have been choked
back in the time. Yeah,
but that's my point. I want to go back to here. Darth Vader doesn't kill everybody. Some people he just extends, an authoritative hand.
Pretty sure he force choked and killed everybody that he was.
Everybody he didn't want alive.
Not everybody.
Usually the people that he didn't end up killing, he sent them on like suicide missions.
I disagree.
Semantics?
Semantics here, man.
I mean, with the exception that Tarkin, he let him go.
Right.
Vader, that's enough.
Yeah, but Tarkin's on another level. Tarkin's like Thrawn in the fact that
he's a Grand Moff.
He's a Grand Moff, right? And he's also Thrawn's a Grand Admiral.
Yeah, that's true.
But regardless, they're both like they had Palpatine's ear.
But what about
they were powerful enough to they could probably end up commanding Vader at some point. And we even saw Tarkin kind of order him around. You talking about the guy in the board meeting that he chose?
No, I'm talking about what about the guy? He's under
Krennic.
Yeah, Krennic from
yeah,
Rogue
don't
One.
let your aspiration. Don't choke on your aspiration.
Yeah, he doesn't kill Krennic.
Yes, but he continued to use him for he didn't kill him there because he knew he still had potential.
So
he needed him to complete the Death Star.
He needed him to complete the Death Star.
But he had to complete his mission.
Did he come
he
and
needed
save
an
him?
authoritative hand to move him along in his mission.
But did Vader come and save him on Scarif? No, he let him die there with all the other people.
Well,
because he already got his mission. He's like, just blow him up.
That's because he had other work he was doing.
Yeah.
He had other work he was doing.
He was obsessed with chasing somebody.
Right. Yeah, that's well, the Empire's a little too cavalier with lives is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Regardless, they end up killing Hess. And they end
outright.
up, and then everybody in the room. And I love
he
when
deserves a hero's funeral.
Stop it.
This really reminded me of the Greedo Han Solo scene.
Yeah. Bring us back.
It's just like
Except there's no question on who fired first.
That's
here.
right.
Very true.
Nobody
I don't think he had a firearm.
He
I'm
probably
pretty sure
not.
he did not.
I love when they shoot up the whole room though, and then Mayfeld's like, "None of them saw your face."
Right.
They're done. We wiped it clean.
That's right.
And that was also a big trust for Mayfeld because Mando could just kill him then.
All right.
And then Mando would have been in the clear. But Mando is a greater character than that, and I think he saw after that whole sequence, he saw wisdom in Mayfeld's words in that you will cross that line for those you care about, and so he decided to let him. Let him live, which is pretty cool.
The redemption there too,
Yeah.
like from the prison ship, episode, when he locks them all there. And Mayfeld's an interesting choice, but he's very good.
Yeah, his shots were on point this episode.
This episode he could hit something without his
little
shoulder gun.
Yeah, he was on point. I think he was a good choice.
You are talking a lot. I know I'm in the other side of this, but I did not like his helmet being removed. I was not a fan of Mando taking off his helmet.
Well, this was the second time that's happened, right? So I reminded Logan that it was in the first season.
Right.
Corrected me.
Taika Waititi took it off.
Yeah. The
IG-88 model, removed it to heal him.
Yep, that's right. When he got the head injury.
Yeah, but that was a droid, and so it's not like a living being had seen his face.
But we did get to see his face.
We got to see his face. Yeah, and it's just Pedro Pascal, which is a good looking face. He also in the first episode that he met Cara Dune in the first season, he took his helmet off in front of a giant window and watched the kids play. But apparently they're trying to make us believe that nobody saw his face, even though he was standing right in front of that giant window and ate his soup. But regardless, you wanted a bigger, more poignant reason for him to remove the helmet.
It just seemed like kind of like random to me. And I mean, here's the reality. We're in season 2,
right?
And everything that's been built up to this point is he does not remove his helmet.
Yes,
he
and that's
doesn't
great.
remove. It's season 2,
right.
And we're pulling the helmet off, which means this helmet is coming off a bunch after this.
What Mayfeld said in the transport, really got to him.
Yeah,
right? It was a good heart to heart, and he's like, you know what? Like, I'm a man of principle, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, and it's not just Mayfeld. Like, we've seen many conversations that he's had. We saw a conversation, like even the conversations he had with Bo-Katan earlier this season,
right?
Where he's kind of been questioning, and even with Boba, where he's kind of been questioning about like, all right, I'm not the only belief that Mandalorians hold. we're a specific group that believe this.
It's a religion.
Right. It's a warrior weaponry based religion.
Right.
And he's seeing all these people that he has now actually gotten as like grown as friendships that he didn't have before, that are teaching him about the importance of virtue. And then having the child with him, having Grogu with him, has softened him. I mean,
that's the
first
problem.
5 minutes of
It softened him.
Yes, it did.
I want order. I want the way.
He wants Death Watch. That's
he
what
wants Death
want
right.
the
Yeah,
way.
he just wants Death Watch to
I
be
want the
Yeah.
way. This isn't
Death Watch,
the way.
Empire.
But the thing is that I think that's the beauty of it, in that his way that he was thinking of, like the way that he was so clinging to, was short-sighted when it comes to protecting those you love. Like, it's very cold and clinical,
Right.
which is probably why you like it.
I love it.
Which is very cold and clinical, which he's starting to believe in more than just the code. He's starting to believe in the value of individual lives and the value of the people that put their faith in you, because the child like trusted him.
Yeah.
You know, and he trusts the child, and so he wants to help.
I thought at first, and here's what I will say. I
Yeah.
thought at first that this was a kind of like soft episode for him
Okay.
until we got to the end.
Oh yeah, let's wrap it up. Yeah,
until we
let's wrap it
got
up.
to the end.
Yeah.
So they get the
Then
coordinates,
They
right?
get the coordinates.
and they send a message.
They send a message.
Oh.
They send a clear
They
message.
send a very clear message. Yep. Moff Gideon gets a hollow transmission from Din Djarin, and man, he just says his words right back to him.
Repeats.
He
repeats.
parrots what he said back on Navarro,
Yep.
and he pretty much tells Moff Gideon, "I'm coming for you."
And not lightly.
And no,
This man is coming for him.
Yeah, and with the crew he's got with him, those dark troopers better be ready.
The crew's dangerous right now.
Yeah.
So Cara Dune, we've got Boba, Fennec, and then
I don't think we've seen the last of Mando either.
Right, Mayfeld. Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
I don't think these are the four he's rolling in alone.
No,
We've talked a little bit about this before, that you are really hoping for this Avenger type grouping at the end.
Yeah.
To then, like, for this final push
Ahsoka
to get
and
the kid.
Bo-Katan and Bo-Katan's group.
I want to call this out though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the one to say it.
Do it. Say it. You won't.
I think the kid is gonna die at the end of this next episode.
I
think Grogu is either, let me name this,
No.
maybe not dead. Here, let me name
No.
this. He is either gone. I don't think they're gonna get him back.
I don't think they're gonna get him back.
I don't think they're gonna get. So
He's not gonna die.
He's either gone.
Yeah.
Or they find out that the actual work they needed to do to extract from him this time has killed him.
Now you know what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna modify it a little bit.
All right, give me a modification.
Here's the
If
modification.
he lets anybody touch him, I mean, he was just throttling those stormtroopers.
Yeah, but he didn't have enough strength to actually kill him. Like that's Here's my
just gonna get
modification.
tired.
He's gonna throw his tantrum and get tired.
Yeah.
Here's my modification. They're not gonna rescue the child. I totally agree with that. They're not gonna rescue the child by the end of the season. That's that. But they're gonna believe he's dead. In fact, us as an audience might even believe he's dead.
That's a good point.
But he's not actually going to be dead. Like I think
That's a good point.
It'll end on a cliffhanger where Mando and even the audience believes he has died, and
Right.
Mando has seen something that makes him believe he's dead. But then he'll come back at some point in the third season.
Well, and the other reality here, that's the piece that, so we know Bo-Katan could come in here.
Yeah.
And her crew.
Yeah.
You know, Sasha Banks. You know, she'll put him in the bank statement.
Yeah.
We know that could happen. We know that there are more. We know that Bill Burr could come back around, and he could be in the 8th episode here.
Yep.
However, what we don't know, which is the complete cliffhanger, is Grogu was able to reach out through the Force.
Yeah, who's that Jedi?
To who?
Who's that? It's Mace Windu.
We are really.
We've already said it here. It's Mace Windu.
We want a robotic
it's not Ahsoka
arm.
Tano.
It's
Nope,
not
it's
Ahsoka
not.
Tano.
Right.
We want a robotic arm.
Mace Windu. Come on, Sam Jackson. We need.
But that's what I'm saying is
we need you.
We may be in.
We need your purple
as
lightsaber.
a community, we may be in for a big surprise here in this 8th episode.
Well, we won't be in it for a surprise because we've already called it.
We called it. Yeah.
It's already going to be Mace Windu. Sam Jackson's already there. He's already filmed his scenes.
Completed it.
I believe it.
Cut.
All right, guys. So that was The Believer. What a great episode. One episode left to go in the second season.
Say it ain't so.
I know, because we got to wait for the third season. Oh, my goodness.
You know, our podcast is almost as long as the whole episode.
Stop. Well,
I'm
I'll cut
getting
it
really
down.
frustrated by the fact that they are giving us they're
No,
packing
but they
so
pack
much
so
in,
much in.
but
It's so
it's
good.
so short.
But they're
is
doing
short.
it right.
They are
Yes.
doing it right. They're
doing it
taking their
right.
time.
Yes, that's fair.
So anyway, Corey, thank you so much for joining us on the
Thanks for having
podcast.
me.
We are going to, as you guys know at home, we are going to be starting out our Star Wars correction saga in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to start with episode 7. You know what, Corey, we'd love if you came back and did episode 7 with us.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Come on,
back.
man.
If you'll have me.
Oh,
Of
yes!
course.
We need
Of
all
course.
the big guns we can get for this correction, so
These
make sure...
are so bad.
They're so bad.
We can't do them alone.
We
You know
can't.
what? Mark me down for it.
Oh,
There we
awesome.
And I hope I won't disappoint.
No, you won't. So make sure, guys, you tune in. Check out our podcast all over our podcast websites, and
Everywhere.
also check us out on YouTube if you get the chance for some video podcasts. And we'll see you guys on the next Mandalorian podcast, and later on the Star Wars Correction Saga. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Legion of Comic Correction. Don't forget to check out our other episodes streaming everywhere that you listen to podcasts. We're also on all the other major social platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search Legion of Comic Correction. Our YouTube page has some extra video content, and check out our Patreon for exclusive supporter specials at patreon.com/Legion of CC. New episodes come out every Monday, and we will see you guys next week, same time, same place, same Legion.